Hi, friends. Welcome
Hi.
back to the next episode of Follow Her Lead. So, something we wanted to jump in on a big topic that I think is really important when you're growing your business, when you're thinking about a new hire, when you're just, wanting to engage in trying to find new talent, is just meeting people where they're at. So, we do this a lot in our business, is understanding people's personalities, understanding how they like to be talk to, how to address people, especially during conflict with their different type of personalities. And I think this is a lesson that if I can give anyone as a leader, again, growing their business or growing their team, this is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, I full heartedly agree. It's so important to know how someone wants to be talked to or how they respond
Yeah.
because some people really aren't motivated by you can't have a super hard conversation with them because they can't take it
Yeah.
and it's not going to motivate them. So you really have to be conscious of your style versus how they're receiving your style because not everybody works the same way. And
Yeah.
when you start to really dive into this is what their personality is, this is what mine is. How can I adjust what I'm doing to meet them where they're at versus everybody always having to meet you where you are? I
Hmm.
think that's a huge for being a leader.
100%. And we use a system called Crystal Knows, and it's like one of our favorite things that we do in the organization. So everybody that starts has to do a personality profile. They usually use mine as an example because I'm like one of the most aggressive ones, believe it or not. Yeah,
We believe it.
shocker.
Not surprising.
But it actually shows you the personality, and it uses the 16 personalities test. It does the enneagrams. It does the DISC profile. It does a bunch of different types of personality testing and then puts it into one complete format where you can show your personality on a chart versus someone else and then see, okay, this is where you might butt heads with that person. This is how you guys can collaborate. This is the words that person likes to be spoken to. And I can tell you it's been spot on for me when I can't feel like I can get through to somebody with the conversations I'm having because I can typically be very direct. Like my personality even says to communicate with Amanda, like use 3 sentences or less. And I'm like, that is sounds about right. Like I am directly straight to the point. Like, okay, where are you getting with this? Let's just get to the point. So I think that's one of the best things that you can do as a business leader is just understanding people's personalities and really what motivates them and what drives them.
And we all put it in our email signature. So when
Yeah.
you're emailing back and forth, and if you end up with something that's like per my last email, you can look at their personality and very quickly distinguish how to proceed with caution
Yes.
of if you can be direct, if you need to soften it up. I like to do like a compliment hug. Where you're
Yes.
like
Love that one.
compliment, direct, compliment, hug it together, sandwich it together,
Sandwich it. Yeah.
soft delivery.
The soft
I
delivery.
have learned that I also am very direct. I don't realize it, but my tone can be very
Hmm.
and I don't mean for that. I don't mean for my
Yeah.
face to be so loud sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes my face is really loud. It gives it away.
Yes, and understanding meeting people out when there's a conversation, like understanding what conversations probably should happen and over the
Private.
phone. Yeah, in private. That one is probably very important.
In person versus over the phone
In
versus
person,
on
yeah,
email.
on email because, a lot of people interpret tone through email and there's not actually tone in email, but we read it a certain way. We're like, like in that voice. Did she just say that? Like
Are you okay? That's like the email is like hi, and you're like hi. You're like what did I
why did
do
you
to
read that
you?
like that? Like, why do you have 10 so I do like 10 exclamation marks because I'm like excited, but some
Yeah,
people think that it's like
you're screaming.
aggressive. If I send an email with capital letters in the subject line, I get yelled at like, why are you yelling at
Yeah,
everybody? And I'm like, I'm just
you
excited.
you thought that I was gonna read my deadline of 24 hours and that you're just so excited, and not that you're screaming at me to get
Yeah.
this done within 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's
So
your toxic trait.
that is my toxic trait. I've got a couple of them. So just, yeah.
Um,
Patience is my toxic trait.
and I think it's so important. Meet people where they're at and learn their style and adapt their style, especially
Hmm.
as a manager. Do not force everybody to live within your style because you're going to
Yes.
lose talented people that way. You need to meet people where they're at and you need to adjust to them versus them adjusting to you. Because especially like different departments, like the marketing is a creative field, so we are sensitive. Do
Yes.
not approach us aggressively, or we will
Approach with
not
caution.
approach with caution and cupcakes. A nice word of affirmation, like your hair looks great
Yes.
today.
Yes.
Something nice and fun. Let's have a little conversation. Then say whatever.
Yeah.
But you can't come in hot.
You come in hot, it's not going to end well. We're going to
No.
have tears.
Not for me, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and we have an office of, I think, what is it, like 89% women in our office.
93%, I
Probably
think.
in the 90s.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. But, we've got a lot of personalities.
Yes.
So I think understanding all of those is probably our number one priority all the time. Because if anybody comes to me with a conflict that they're having with somebody, I'm like, have you read their crystal profile? Have you seen maybe where their personality is different than yours? But also on the flip side of that, we're a team. And I always tell people just to approach a conversation understanding that this person has positive intent.
Mhm.
So they wouldn't be a part of our team if there wasn't positive intent, following it. So like, let's dig deep and see where is the positive intent in it. If I reread this email or I re-talked through this conversation, where was the love really coming from?
Mhm. I love that. I think that trust is like the number one thing too, is like trusting that that person is trying to do their job, is doing their job, does their job well, and is in their position for a reason. I
Right.
think when we have a lack of trust is when you have that like more like micromanaged style, or like more aggression, or like always thinking it's coming from like an ill intent,
Yeah.
when like people can make mistakes, it's okay, or like
Yeah.
maybe they just need to be retaught something, and like just really coming from a place of like genuine like curiosity, not like
Yes.
saying you're coming from curiosity and being like, hey, did you mean to do that, and just being like for real, like what's going on, why is
Yeah.
this that way, like let's talk this through. Question for you,
Yes.
and this is gonna be a hard
Oh
one to
boy.
answer.
Oh God. I feel like
I
this
feel
is
like
gonna.
this episode is gonna
Okay.
get deleted.
Oh God.
All right.
Don't get
All
us
right, let's
canceled
say
already.
no, not like that. All right, so let's say that you hire someone and they're really great, but their personality is an issue.
Okay.
Like someone who's hard to work with or butts heads with others, but they're
Mhm.
really good at their job.
Okay.
What's your advice for navigating, or like maybe there's someone you just don't jive with, but like they're good for the team in general? Like how do you get past those kind of roadblocks of like,
Yeah.
not everybody's going to be everybody's cup of tea, and like maybe there's tension on a team because certain people don't get along, or like how do you manage all of that, especially when you have so many people on
Yeah.
so many different teams?
Yeah, it's a lot. And I think that question is kind of like twofold. So, like if somebody's really great at their job but they have personality conflict with a lot of people, I'd have to dig a little bit deeper and figure out, okay, is it I mean, there's a common denominator. So there has to be an issue happening somewhere. But I'll never take production over personality. So
Mhm.
if they're a cancer and they're spreading negativity through the office, I don't care if you're bringing in $10 million a year. Like you just can't be a part of the team because, they say like, culture, what is it like, I forget the saying, but it's all about how like culture eats strategy for breakfast every day. So it's like talking about how like the culture piece of it is the most important thing, and that goes back to how personalities jive with each other, how people show up to work every day, how they're treating each other, like things like that are way more important than how you do your job,
Mhm.
in my opinion. So we just can't tolerate things like that in an organization that's so people oriented, and can't let it go on for too long. So, there's always going to be conversations of like, sitting people down, trying to figure out where we can work together, going through their crystal profiles and seeing if it is just a bigger issue that's not fixable.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough on that one. Is there? Have you? What is the?
Love that question. Don't have an answer.
Okay. I really threw you off on that one. Okay.
That was a zinger.
Can you believe she said blah, blah, blah?
Can you believe she couldn't even ask a question?
The only two views we're gonna get is me and you on this.
Yeah,
and we're
because
gonna
we're
watch
cracking
it
each
so
other
much.
up.
Okay.
If you guys didn't see the last episode, we do this voice when
Yeah, this
it's like our haters voice.
Yeah.
So like when we
Can
think
you
about
believe?
people that are like haters, we do that
Yeah.
voice.
Whenever we think of like is like when you get in your head and
Yeah.
you're like, man, everyone's gonna see this and blah blah. You have to be like, did I really just blah 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 blah? And it just makes it so comical.
Did she
that you
really
have
just think that she could start a podcast and people would listen?
a green shirt, really? She's gonna wear green, the color of money? What a greedy bitch! Okay, we are gonna
Anyway,
have to
okay,
edit this
yeah.
episode. It's fine.
We
Okay,
love it.
so what is the most shocking? Because you started with just yourself, then you were like 5 or 6 and the best employee ever,
Mhm.
me. And now you're at whatever, however many people you have.
We have
So
almost
many,
80. Yeah.
almost 80.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a lot. What is like? Were there certain phases that were harder to grow with people, or like learning the personality? Like, how hard was it to transition from a small? Because we did go from small to mid-sized to now we are considered a large
Yeah.
company. Um, how was that transition? Because that's a lot more personality. It's a lot of different departments. It's a lot of moving pieces.
A
We have a
lot.
lot of like interesting jobs that are kind of just made up in confetti land, where it's like, as we call it, where it's like,
Peter Pan.
yeah, the Neverland is what Matthew likes to say. Um, where it's like you split different departments and different jobs further. So 3 people do the job of normally what would be 1, because you don't want everybody to be overworked. So
Yes.
you specifically have extra people in certain personalities in certain roles. What is the hardest part of going from like small scale to large scale
Yep.
in managing and having to hear all the like, complaints and whatnot? Like, what's the hardest part of all of that? And what are like some tips for
Yeah.
people?
So I think, gosh, it's like having kids, right? This is like your family too. So my mom's always like, once you have more than two in a family, like you're outnumbered. So like once you're like just start growing, you just
Yeah.
start growing, right? Like you're
If
just
you can
like,
do 3, you can do
yeah, if you can
70.
do three, you can do 70. It's the same thing, not really. But I think probably the hardest part during the transition into like growth was probably opening a second location because, and then a third and then a fourth, because you don't have everyone under the same roof. So you can't see everything that's going on at one time. So you've got several different offices, you've got several different pockets of culture that are happening as much as you try to make the culture happen all over. I think that's probably the hardest part is when you decide to like, okay, I want to start doing different locations and making sure that the vibe is the same across the board. Was probably the toughest transition when it came to adding people. But we again started hiring people based on personality, doing personality profiling, seeing, okay, high I personality. Those are the ones I want to be doing. Shooting. Am I boring you?
Yes, sorry. That was a
Shooting.
long answer. Just wanted a yes or no.
She really thinks she knows everything.
So many answers she has.
But like, just placing them in the right positions and knowing who, wants to be behind the scenes, doesn't necessarily want to be client facing, who wants to be client facing and shoot off the confetti cannons. And those are all different things, but also understanding how to mix all of that together and create the culture we've created is so important, which you've been such a good person behind that of making sure that our culture calendar, all of our culture days go off without a hitch, which is very unusual in our industry, but making sure that people get to know each other on a more personal level. Because, truly at the end of the day, I know it's cheesy to say it's a family and like, a lot of the people say, don't say that anymore. It's not a family, but we do. We spend more time with each other than we do our own family. So, I want to make sure that we're pushing each other to grow.
Mhm. I love that. How do you temperature check and make sure that the cultures in every little pocket are going the same way? And what do you do if you find out that some of it isn't jiving?
Yeah. So, we have different what we call confetti captains in each office, which we lean into to make sure they're the ones that are, pushing the culture ahead, making sure that it's the same across the board. But we do a lot of anonymous reviews. I think that's probably where we get most of our feedback from. Is we do. It's called Office Vibe. If you want to sponsor us, go ahead. No, I'm kidding.
We've got so many
I know,
sponsors.
like, right?
We
Office
love so
Vibe,
many
Crystal
things.
knows all the things, but
Stanley.
Office Vibe is really, really great for sending out anonymous reviews. We have, people that definitely love to give feedback. So, and
It's
just
me, just different
it's just always
aliases.
Erica.
And that great shirt needs to go.
But it all comes over anonymous, which I think is great. And it does like pulse reviews all the time. So it'll just send random things, a couple times a week to different people. But we read those thoroughly and
Mhm.
really try to adjust based on that. So, if we think that the culture is lacking in an office, we'll send a couple leaders there. We'll do, a schedule of having people visit. We'll send our salespeople who are marketing people. We'll send people that are our high vibe culture people to go spend some time in those offices and really figure it out too. So culture is so, so important to us and we take it super serious.
Yep, we love our culture. And that is one thing I did want to talk about is an easy way to create that atmosphere that you want, with people really bought in and enjoying what they're doing, is to create a culture calendar.
Yeah.
It sounds cheesy, but it works. Like,
Yeah.
we spend a lot of time on it in marketing. Coming up with new days every single month is not necessarily easy, but we do like this month specifically in January, we had Wellness Wednesdays where we took turn. We did like a chair yoga one time. We did a meditation. We did all these other things on Wednesdays specifically as like one of our culture days, and it was just intentional to like get people focused. And
Mhm.
we try to do fun stuff and guacamole bars and
Yeah. Dress up
avocado
day.
days,
Yeah.
dress like a sailor day, and all
Yeah.
these things. And it's cheesy, but it's something fun at work, and it
Yeah.
makes people like excited to be involved. And we have our own economy,
Yeah.
the confetti
Confetti
economy,
economy.
with
Confetti
confetti
bits.
bits. Yes. And we don't want to give out all of our top
I
secret
know.
information, but it does, like, you do get confetti bits for participating, and it does make it fun. It's like a little competition, and it
Yeah.
like checks the, you can really see who's in it and who's involved in what we're doing at the core based on like how many bits they have and where they are on the leaderboard.
Yes.
And it just makes it like a friendly competition.
It's
People
so
love a
fun.
little
They
competition.
love a competition, and
And I'm competitive, so I
yeah.
love a competition, and I am number one. No, I'm not.
We've realized that the gamification of it has
Yes.
been so fun, and shout out to Dustin. He's our incredible
Tech,
tech
CEO of tech,
CEO of all
our
things
lives.
tech and online whatever he does,
He created a
coding, all the
whole
things.
platform for this,
Yes.
and it's awesome. It's all automatic. He's a lifesaver. He's working on some really cool projects right
Yeah.
now too. So
We've
we do
got
want to
some
give him a shout out, and
big shout out to
big shout out to
Dustin.
Dustin. He's never gonna watch this.
No, I know he probably is
I will send him
never.
this clip though, so that he sees that we talked about him on this, because he's
But
the
yeah,
best.
he's the best. And
Genuinely.
I think just creating like I said, this gamification for our culture has been so much fun. We've realized that a lot of people in our organization they really like food. So that's always a good one.
Everybody likes it.
Everyone
And
loves
on
food.
lunch. It's
I
my
mean, and
favorite
you
day.
can get confetti bits for participating and eating. So
Yeah.
it's like pretty
Why would you
fun.
not?
Yeah. Why would you not want to do that and get up from your
Yeah.
desk and go have pizza day
Yeah.
or,
What is that, too cheesy for
taco
you?
bar, whatever.
You want a taco about it?
And they also love to dress up. We have a
Yes, it's
super
fun.
competitive team when it comes to dressing up. So we have
Also,
our
if
dress
you've
up
ever
days.
seen any of our Halloween contests or the videos that we do, like, we have a great team that just
Oh
loves.
my
They're
God,
in it to
this
win it.
UPS man just had to walk all the way
Oh,
down my
no.
driveway with one tiny package.
Oh, no. What did
We
you
love
order?
him.
What is it?
He is bought into his culture.
Yeah, it's
He is
raining.
like, I'm going to deliver this
I
no
would have
matter if it is
thrown
pouring
it.
down raining right
It's
now.
pouring down. We have this beautiful window, and it is pouring down rain. He should have just like chucked it.
Yeah.
Oh, he rang the doorbell and everything.
He rang
He's
the
trying to
doorbell
meet
and
you
he
face to
didn't
face.
even pull in the driveway. Like, what a
Wow.
polite
Oh
young
my
man.
gosh. Wow. Wow. We're just
That
gotta
is an
give him
A
some.
player. Look, we were just talking about what it takes to be an
Yeah,
A player.
that
That
is.
is an A
What did
player.
you order?
Shout out to UPS.
Is that anything cool?
No, I
Cute
think it's
top I
like
can steal?
probably my vitamin renewal or something, like on auto.
Vitamins.
Or her.
Or must be
Who
something
takes
to do in your
vitamins?
40s. I want to know. I'm only 33, so.
Great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hmm.
but that's super fun. So create a culture calendar
And eat
around
your vitamins.
eat your vitamins around like just fun things. Believe it or not, there is something every day of the year. Literally, like today could be
Oh, you mean it?
roll in
I
the
was like,
grass day,
don't lie to them.
national roll in the grass day or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
like
It's
hug a
like sit in
tree.
a chair day, and we're like, let's celebrate by sitting in our
The chairs
chairs.
and eat a cookie, like
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is just like Google it
Google it.
and pick a couple. I think we do like 6 a
But the
month.
one that everybody really loves on our team is Kahoot.
Yes.
I know it's like a teacher game for elementary school kids, but we love it. We put together really fun, really cool, like competitive, like trivia, pop culture, you name it, and everybody logs in across all offices on Zoom. It's so fun. We love it.
Bingo.
We do bingo. Yeah, we
We
dress up.
do
We'll
cheesy
ask
stuff.
the team like what they want us to wear, and then like one time was like grannies, and so the marketing team we dressed up like grannies and
It was
did
super
it.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're down for pretty much anything.
we're down to clown is the thing.
I love that.
We're committed.
Committed to the culture.
Yes. What did we start off talking about? Because I feel like we just
We went
broke
on a
away.
tangent about culture, but this is typically what happens with us. But we were just talking about meeting people where they are.
Yes. Okay. I just
But
wanted to like
also,
circle
like
back to
I
wrap.
think that just going back to our industry too. Our industry is like not really synonymous with creating cultures,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So like when
It's very, like,
people
grind,
start,
grind,
yeah,
grind.
it's just grind, like sit at your desk, like you're, when I always tell people when I think of title, I think of like women in a cage or just like, in there, like
Not
looking at
approved.
title and they're like,
Not approved.
deed is not right. And they're like,
Smoking 10 cigarettes.
and so it's just when people start working for us that have worked at another title company, they're like, what is this land that you guys live in? This like fairy tale land where people like actually like each other.
Mhm,
It's very strange. So it just goes back to show you like how a culture, like creating that environment can make people want to really truly come to work every day.
mhm. Yeah. Also, having good coffee helps.
Having good coffee. We have our own brew, which is it's not bad. It's
That's
actually
alright.
pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not strong.
Yeah, I use espresso, so I wanna know.
I
I
know,
don't.
you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
She's fallen asleep over here on me already, so
I'm
just kidding.
not falling asleep, just,
She's just trying to fall asleep.
even her CEO thinks she's boring. I wish next episode, we're all doing that voice.
We're only doing the voice. Okay.
Our next theme will be about the inner critic.
The inner critic Yeah, that's our inner critic voice.
Yeah.
And she's funny
You
though.
wanna even walk through the rain for me?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we have to end it because we're just going crazy now. Bye.